It is a land of unparalleled beauty. This island nation, just off the southern tip of India, is surrounded by the Indian Ocean and by centuries of custom, culture, and religion, forming a tapestry that is unique in all the world.
We are blessed with the guidance and the influence of 4 major religions. You find majority the Buddhists, then you find the Christians, Hindus, and the Muslims. So at different degrees we are all linked up together. We have been living for hundreds of years like this, and which is extremely important for us.
At first glance, Sri Lanka's many ethnic and religious expressions seem to fit like family, enjoying a peaceful coexistence. But like most families, things are never that easy.
Sri Lanka has this pure form of Theravada Buddhism. Lord Buddha is supposed to have visited Sri Lanka about 3 times and recognized that the philosophy was in danger in different other parts of the world. So the people in this country, they feel that we are the custodians of pure Buddhism.
But religion is only part of Sri Lanka's complex history. For 4.5 centuries, the island was controlled by the Portuguese, then the Dutch, and finally the British. Colonial domination meant that even though most citizens were Buddhists, the colonial powers treated Buddhism as a minority religion. And so when Sri Lanka gained its independence in 1948, Buddhism enjoyed a favored place among religions. Race, religion, and politics, compounded by a 26-year ethnic civil war, were now potential sources of conflict.
Buddhism by nature, by the true religion, they are not extremists. They are very kind people. They are non-violent and all that. But what has happened is that that kind of religion is fast disappearing from the community.
So the very diversity that Sri Lankans have celebrated for centuries now threatens to come apart under the weight of nationalism and religious fundamentalism. It was in this volatile climate that extremists in the village of Digana in the Kandy region set fire to a mosque and a Muslim home, killing one man and severely injuring his brother.
They bombed my house first. It caught fire. At that time, my wife and I were in a room inside, and my son, who died from the fire, was upstairs. But we didn't realize it at the time, and my other son was badly injured, trying to help. The police had told us that our son had been taken to the hospital, and so we didn't look for him. Only the following day, we learned that he had died inside.
News reached the OMNIA Institute, which only months before had led an immersion journey and peacemaking workshop in the country.
This violence, by the way, is not something that erupted within the community, within the village. Outside actors came from other parts in order to agitate and create the violence within the village. And of course, when they do that, everybody gets involved in it, and village people included get involved in that, and that's how it happens. Bishop Kumara Ilangasinghe's leadership has been incredibly important. And so when he undertook to build the Interfaith Peacemaker Teams with us, to bring Christians and Muslims and Hindus and Buddhists to this conversation, he was somebody with tremendous capacity and tremendous respect in the community, who's willing to use that in a new way, because he is convinced that what the Interfaith Peacemaker Teams can do is precisely what is needed for this time in Sri Lanka.
Bishop Kumara, joined by OMNIA women's trainer Soraya Dean, met with Buddhist leaders to begin the process of creating an OMNIA Interfaith Peacemaker Team in Digana.
My desire has always been to mobilize people, because you must mobilize them in such a way that they will also organize themselves, and then they will be strong, they will be powerful to bring in the kind of changes that we need to bring in.
Today there are OMNIA Interfaith Peacemaker Teams in and around the Kandy region, as well as the northern and eastern regions, where 26 years of war have resulted in missing and displaced persons, numerous war widows, and lots of unanswered questions. Leaders representing every major faith tradition come together to listen to, learn from, and work with each other to help bring peace and progress to their communities.
We put organizers in the country. So now, as a result of explaining the concept and objectives, people who have accepted have become organizers, and they went and explained this to their local community, and they formed a branch.
It's an important vetting process, but OMNIA's tested method of leadership training is unique.
OMNIA's primary task is building interfaith peacemaker teams. There are two things that these teams learn: to collaborate with each other. So the people of different religions, and in fact people of different races or ethnicities, come together for these trainings, and they learn how to break down their exclusivism and find a way of pluralistic understanding in such a way that they can collaboratively work together. Talking is good, but talking is not enough. Buddhists and Christians and Muslims and Hindus need to build power together. And power really means organized people plus organized money.
Women's power building is also an important part of OMNIA's leadership strategy. Soraya Dean is a Sri Lankan-born Muslim American and heads OMNIA's Women's Leadership Initiative.
The United Nations just said 70% of peace negotiations fail because women are not at the table. The OMNIA Institute for Contextual Leadership is a pioneer in the women's movement. We believe that peacemaking, conflict resolution, and creating a peaceful world has to be also an equal responsibility of the women.
The contextual leadership that OMNIA is doing, when we started, we didn't know the advantage of it. We had the initial training. Yes, we took it as a new concept, but with coming in and trying to work, now we are identifying ourselves. That has really solved the root problem, because we cannot solve it from top. We have to solve it where the problem is and where the problem is faced.
And that is OMNIA's commitment through its Interfaith Peacemaker Teams.
The people, they don't realize that they have power. So we need to somehow give them that understanding that you are powerful. When you come together, you are powerful. They emerge from the grassroots and they will own it, because it's their own thing. They will own it, and they will protect it, they will foster it, they will nurture it, and they will be strong in the days to come.
Sri Lanka is a land that is rich in so many ways. And its people, its cultural diversity, its religious expression, its charm, and its history. And in a world that is becoming ever more diverse, there is so much to learn from this island nation. And OMNIA is working to ensure it will always be so.